I wanted to do a follow-up video with my Taro hexacopter. Previously I demonstrated how to set up and control retracts on this frame. And this is something that hopefully will save you a lot of frustration, money, and time. I learned this the hard way at the field the other day, and previously I demonstrated with the channel 1 and 2, which are actually mapped to 9 and 10 because I have this in 16 channel mode, that I can control the retracts from my Tyrannus using this X8R. And here's the kicker. You'll notice that if you're running Pixhawk, you'll normally run S-Bus out to RCN on your Pixhawk, and right now the receiver is being powered through this S-Bus connection. While that keeps things super simple, the problem is when you run any sort of servos, in this case my retracts, or maybe even a gimbal, and you're doing any sort of servo output while you're only powering from the Pixhawk RCN connection, you can run into big problems with any sort of power drop. So as I triggered these retracts, I learned there was a power drop, and ultimately it bricked the Pixhawk. And you can imagine that without Pixhawk controlling the Hexa, it came crashing to the ground. And lucky for me, I only broke a prop. One of these folding arms was knocked out of place. I was easily able to put it back into place. And just a side note, these Taro frames are incredibly durable. And what I'm going to demonstrate is what actually happens. So I have the Tower app I'm going to connect via Bluetooth to the 3DR radio.
Connected. GPS 3D lock.
So the reason I connected Tower to the Pixhawk is just so that we can get some audible feedback as I'm going to demonstrate this issue to you. So first off, I apologize for my ESCs beeping. I haven't disabled that. But here's what we'll do. You can see we got a 3D GPS lock, the green LED going. What I'll do is I'll bring up the retracts and then I'll take them down, and what we'll see is the Pixhawk will actually lock up.
Lock. Check connection.
You can hear that data link loss, check connection. Our signal indicator has gone dark.
Check connection.
I'm pressing the arming switch and nothing is happening. So you'll see that we've basically locked up the Pixhawk with our retracts. That servo output pulled a little bit too much power, and ultimately our Pixhawk went dark.
Check connection.
I've powered down the Pixhawk and want to demonstrate what I've done to get around this. Now there are actually two ways you can approach this with a BEC. I'm using a Castle Creations BEC. I'll put a link to that below. I'm going to run it to the RSSI port so that we get our 5 volts coming into the X8R. And alternatively, I will cover this in a future video. You can run your retracts to an auxiliary port on your Pixhawk. You can run the BEC into, let's say, RC14, which maps to this pin 6. Get your retracts on 1 and 2, or if you're using a Y cable, on just one of those. The benefit of that approach is then you can do something like an RC pass-through, so your transmitter will pass that signal through to the retracts to control it manually, or you can actually set up Pixhawk so that you can, in your mission, use a servo command to actually control them automatically when you take off and when you land. And what I'll do now is I will plug in this Castle Creations BEC to the RSSI port on the X8R. Have that plugged in the RSSI port, and if you're not aware, you can still get power to your servo rail via this method and not have to lose a channel. We have everything powered up again with the BEC. Let me just cycle these retracts up and down a few times. Really wanted to share that update. This has happened to me once in the garage, once at the field, and I literally had no clue what was going on. I even posted in the ArduPilot forums asking for help. Spent a lot of time looking through my telemetry logs and finally put 2 and 2 together to realize, hey, when I mess with those retracts in the air, that's about the time this all happens. And I'm gonna go update my previous video and direct everyone here. So make sure you use a BEC or run one off of your Pixhawk so that you can get power to your servos. Don't be an idiot like me and rely on that S-bus power coming in, because you're ultimately going to run into problems and you don't want that to happen in the air. Just wanted to share that update with you. Hopefully it'll save you some time, money, and frustration. If you guys have any questions or comments, please post them below. And until next time, thanks for watching.